Welcome to Agenda Edina, a program summarizing the actions taken at City Hall that affect you most. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty. A new entrance to Fred Richards Park will come with the latest redevelopment in Pentagon Park. Earlier this month, the City Council approved a preliminary rezoning and a preliminary development plan for 4600 and 4620 77th Street West. Solem Company's plans to tear down one of the existing office buildings and construct a 7-story, 276-unit apartment building with a small main-level cafe. The plan is an expansion of the residential development project under construction to the west.
We have added a cafe on 77th at the corner of 77th and our new access road, our Woonerf, to draw people into the park and also to create a welcoming environment along 77th. If any of you are familiar with 77th, it's a pretty desolate highway right now. So this will help change the atmosphere of that street.
The project will include a new entrance to Fred Richards Park off 77th Street. The park's current entrance is not as visible. The project also includes pedestrian trails on all sides of the building with 2 new connection points to the 9 Mile Creek Regional Trail and the park.
The connections to the park, one connection, the pedestrian and bike connection, will go in between the apartments and the existing office building that will remain. And the main vehicular connection to the park will be on the east side of the building.
Solem Companies is expected to seek final approvals soon. 5 people are vying for 2 spots on the Edina City Council. Councilmember Ron Anderson is running for re-election. Others running are Kate Agnew, Jeff Hovanak, Janet Katui, and Julie Risser. Edina voters will also consider a 0.5% sales tax increase to provide $17.7 million for Fred Richards Park improvements and $21.6 million for Braemar Park and arena projects. Edina voters can begin casting their ballots for the November 8th general election as soon as Friday, September 23rd. In-person early voting hours at Edina City Hall are 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. weekdays through November 4th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, November 5th, and 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday, November 7th. Voters can also vote by mail if they do not want to do so in person.
Absentee voting is a 6-week period. So if you think of it that way versus election day, which is 1 day. So you do have some options, right, in between those 6 weeks. So if a person planned to come out, say, week 1, for example, and you didn't make it for week 1, you can always fall back to week 2.
Earlier in 2020, voting precinct boundaries changed due to redistricting. If you plan to vote in person on Election Day, you can find your polling place based on your address by visiting the Secretary of State Polling Place Finder at pollfinder.sos.state.mn.us. City Hall is not an Election Day polling place. A new position within the Public Works Department is helping to keep residents safe without breaking their stride. The new employee is very excited about his work, and he hopes residents are too. Edina TV's Tom Cornell introduces us to Derek Leonard.
The position I'm in is the Sidewalk Inspector. I'll walk each sidewalk in the neighborhood, and I document any kind of trip hazard that's found.
Sidewalk Inspector isn't a very glamorous title.
The residents have been very delightful. I think that when they see me and they kind of notice that, a lot of them are like, hey, it's the spray paint guy.
Spray paint guy. That isn't much better, but...
In this general neighborhood, I've found over 400 trip hazards.
Meaning, if you're like a lot of Edina residents who enjoy walking in their neighborhoods, a sidewalk hazard could result in a trip to the ER, lost work time, and maybe even more. So that's why this position was created.
When I started the job, they made it pretty clear that there was no one I was replacing. There was no program in place.
But Derek is working on more than just walking around with a spray can. He wants to connect with residents.
I embrace the opportunity to communicate with them.
He uses basic cell phone technology to document sidewalk hazards with GPS accuracy capture photos, and rate the hazards.
Anything over a ½ inch we consider a trip hazard.
Derek's goal is to provide residents with information that they can use to maintain the sidewalks on their property.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of opportunities to have some great conversations with residents, and that's kind of what I was striving for.
So the next time you see this guy out walking in your neighborhood with a spray can,
don't hesitate to stop by and ask me any questions. I will do my very best to get answers for you.
For Edina TV, I'm Tom Cornell.
Hopefully you'll meet Derek in your neighborhood. Even if you don't and have questions or concerns about your neighborhood sidewalks, you can contact Derek at dleonard@edinamn.gov or at 952-826-0376. Thank you for watching this episode of Agenda Edina. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty.